Well, that's probably a good thing. Since we're talking about friends, none of the people I was talking about heard me talk about them. Thank you, Lena. Presley.
Well, they ain't bothered to look you up. I said, well, Lonnie, they didn't know I didn't have Facebook.
Right.
How are they going to know? They knew I lived in Arkansas, but that's all they knew.
Miss Kathy's on Facebook, y'all. You're ahead of me. I'm not on Facebook. If anybody was looking for me, they can't find me there.
Well, my son got me interested in it about 4 or 5 years ago.
What?
I had an iPad.
Okay. Wait a minute. Excuse me, class.
I said, you're on there.
What do you mean I'm on there?
Your wife is on a lot of stuff.
My wife does?
Posty.
My work does. Okay, well, I'm on Facebook, y'all. Is that Facebook famous? No. Yeah. That's right. That's right. The new phone books are here. That's right. Anyway, let's get back on task here. Verse 8, as a bird that wandereth from her nest, so is a man that wandereth from his place. What does that mean, guys? What does that mean personally to you? We're talking about friendships here. Remember when I mentioned earlier that some of those contacts I don't have anymore? But sometimes it's not them that wandered. It's me that may have wandered. And let's be honest here. We're all friends here. We're all loved ones here. Some of those friendships that I had, that you had, I say had, are not friendships anymore because one of us took a different walk maybe than the other one. What about you, Joe? Does that ring true? Two different directions. Two different directions in life. Mark, Donna, you've got friends where you grew up and now you're saved. You're walking with Christ every day. And some of those friends that you grew up with that were so close, they went the opposite direction. And I do mean opposite. What's so wonderful is that sometimes those friends, if you're lucky enough to hear about it, make that turn themselves. We're going to get back to this Facebook topic. Thank you, Miss Kathy. I know that is it's a good thing when used right. Right? Am I right? It's a good thing to keep up with old friends. It's a good thing to be able to know how some of your old friends are doing, whether they were living in another state or another country. But what I hear a lot of, just like anything that's good, the tool that is good, a person that is good, a friend that is good, Satan gets involved when they're good. And I got news for you guys, now, especially now that I found out I'm on Facebook. I don't know how that happened. Some of these tools that Satan uses are just like Facebook. They'll separate a family. They'll break a friendship. Because you know what happens when Kendall gets on Facebook? Are you on Facebook now?
No.
Yeah, no.
I'm looking up
If you have a friend who's on Facebook, sometimes that can get too well acquainted. You can spark up some things that you remember from back in the day. And the next thing you know, you're talking to that friend more than you are your own family. Also, I see these Instagram, and I see Instagram, and personally, I'm going to get this all over me because I'm not that techie guy. I see people tearing people down on Facebook, or I hear about it. And it's a platform where even your friend can come on there and say something that's happening in their life, or something that they're doing, or something that how they feel. And man, people will go on the attack and try to just bury that person. True friendship doesn't need Facebook. True friendship does not need a text. True friendship is face-to-face, or on the phone talking with one another, checking on one another, loving on one another, finding out what's going on good in one's life, and finding out what the problems are in that friend's life. And sometimes just a good friend, just to listen. Just to listen. I've told y'all that I've gone to funerals with folks, and especially some friends who, all my friends that I went to school with, that I graduated with, most of them have lost their parents. They lost them later in life than I did. So I was the guy that had already lost my parents, and I went to their parents' funeral with them. And the best thing for me to do was to keep my mouth shut. Just sit there with them and listen to them. Talk about their parents, their life. Listen to them grieve. That's friendship, guys. That's friendship. Verse 9 says, ointment and perfume rejoice the heart, but so doth the sweetness of a man's friend by heartly counsel. That's what I'm talking about. Mike, you got friends that you will talk to them about anything. You got some friends that you might not talk about certain topics or certain problems. But there are friends that, Janet, you've got a friend that when you've got things going on in your life, you know you can either pick up the phone or go meet up and talk about this problem that's going on in your life. Same thing for you, Mike, all of us. That one special person that they'll accept you how you are, just like Jesus does. Jesus accepts us just the way we are. He meets us where we are, and then He changes us. I've got those friends. One of them was in here this morning, and he was making fun of me. Jim Fink. Jim's way of communicating with me is, you're looking especially ugly today. And I go back at him the same way. Your pants are too short, dude. You know, stuff like that. But when, and I've got lots of friends, guys, don't misunderstand me, but there's those special ones that have gone through troubling times with you. Yeah. That's a, man, we used to just call that friendship. Trauma bonding. There's always a new word for everything, isn't there? A new phrase. Thank you, Dolena. Well, I need to since I'm on Facebook now. But they've been through the fire with you. Debbie? Same thing. Different circumstances and things, but they're friends that I've been through the fire. They've been through my fire with me, and I've been through their fire with them. There is nothing that can replace that. And the only thing that keeps that together, I don't care what anybody says, it's Christianity. Brotherly love that is true brotherly love, brotherly and sisterly love for each other that gets you through those problems. Whether it's the death of a parent, parent or a loss of a job. You know, it doesn't matter. Life situations that those friends have always been so reliable to be there on the phone, to call you when they know something has happened to you and your family, or to show up at your door, or to pick up when you call. They don't know anything about what's going on, but that's the friend you can pick up and call when it is going on in your life. Verse 10, thine own friend and thy father's friend forsake not. Neither go into thy brother's house in the day of thy calamity, for better is a neighbor that is near than a brother that's far off. He that blessed his friend with a loud voice, rising early in the morning, it shall be counted a curse to him. Let's see what we're talking about there. He that blesseth his friend with a loud voice, rising early in the morning, it shall be counted a curse to him. What do you think he's trying to say there? Brett, you got anything? When I read that verse 6 times this week, I'm like, what is he trying to say here? I mean, it starts out so nice. He that blesseth his friend with a loud voice, rising early in the morning, it shall be counted a curse to him. And then it hit me. Sometimes, and I'm sure some of you have experienced this at one time or another. If you haven't, you probably will. Sometimes your friends will disappoint you. You have praised them and you have loved on them, and they've loved on you, Doug. But at some point in time, and you've got up in the morning and you've praised their name because they've been such a good friend to you. And then sometimes you are betrayed. Or at least we perceive that we've been betrayed. That friend turned on us, or said something to someone else about us, or divulged information that we were secretly talking to that friend about in confidence, and they told somebody else. And that hurts. It hurts very, very bad, and it's very disappointing, and sometimes those friendships are broken and they never can be repaired. Those friendships are cursed. At the same time, verse 17 is the famous verse. Iron sharpeneth iron. So a man that sharpeneth the countenance of his friend. Joe, sometimes you got to tell your friend the truth. You can't tell this friend some flowery, oh, you know, man, I feel so sorry for you, and I'm so sorry this happened to you, and I don't know what to tell you. But you do know what to tell him, because that friend he's talking to is wrong. One of the hardest conversations you're going to have with a friend is about faith. It can either be really good when you're both being faithful and you're both living your life the way Christ wants you to live your life, and you're talking to each other. It can be really rosy. But when one of your friends, your friend, makes some mistakes, gets caught up in, we got a lot of them, gets caught up in things in their life that they shouldn't be involved in, and you know about it, the hardest conversation you can have with them is correction. If you are a close friend to that person, it is your God-given duty to let them know Out of love, guys. Out of love. Not out of anger, not out of jealousy, not out of self-righteousness. I'm better than you, but out of love, go to that friend and say, hey, we need to talk. I'm worried about you. I see some things, I hear some things, and I want to make sure that we get you back on the right track. I'm here to help you get back on track. You ever had to do that with somebody? A family member is one thing, but a friend is another. It can break up a friend. But iron sharpens iron. You've seen the shows, I was talking about all those westerns a while ago, and they all had a blacksmith shop where the guy's got the big anvil, Joe, and he's in there with the hot irons, and he's beating those things, and he beats on them, and he beats on them, and he shapes them just the way they need to be. If it's a knife, it's so it'll cut the sharpest. If it's a tool, it'll hold up under pressure. That's iron sharpening iron. That's what we're to do with our friends. We have to sharpen them. And sometimes it's hard work. And it's hard emotionally as well. All right? Y'all got any comments before we move on? I don't know about you, Brett, but I find myself barely getting through the first group of verses in these Sunday school lessons. Mike, Mike's already hit me about time this morning. And by the way, I appreciate everybody standing so close to me on some of the preaching services that may have went a little too long, and the comments that y'all. I appreciate y'all. Randy preached too long the last time. I get it. Okay? Iron sharpening iron.
You got to pray for scribe in prayer practice.
I did?
Yeah. Johnny was doing the lesson. Clay got on him about how long he was.
I bet you $5, though, that he compared him to me. This is a Randy Rogers lesson, didn't he?
Compared him to the perfect.
Didn't he? I thought so, yeah. Brett said I was mentioned. Okay. Yeah, sure it was. Sure it was. Sure it was. Let's move on to our next group of verses, starting in chapter 27, verse 11. This is dealing with family wisdom. My son, be wise and make thy heart glad, that I may answer him that reproach me. A prudent man foresees the evil and hideth himself, but the simple pass on and are punished. I like that. A prudent man, a smart man, when he sees trouble, what's he going to do? The minute you see trouble, what should you do? Run. Go the other direction. Walk around it. Don't try to walk through it. Go around it. There's nothing weak about that. A good, strong Christian man is going to have the courage to walk around things, or a woman that is going to walk around things that they know is trouble in their life. 13. Take his garment that is surety for a stranger, and take a pledge of him for a strange woman. How many of y'all have, every time I read this verse, I think of Coach for Kids. Just the fact that you give something to somebody else. 15, a continual dropping in a very rainy day and a contentious woman are alike. Man, I just went through that yesterday. Hildreth, did you think that was entertaining? Becky and I spent the whole day together yesterday because it was raining. I'm going to tell you something, though. Days like that, in your home, with your girlfriends, with your husband, your wife, or your kids, Kendall, you're talking about iron sharpening iron. But days like yesterday, stuck in the house together all day long, you can make it really pleasant, or you can make it really tough. How many of y'all ever got on your husband or wife's nerves? Every one of you, raise your hand.
Probably all right.
Look at LaDonna. Did you see LaDonna? LaDonna give him the elbow. Raise your hand. There you go. There you go. Becky tries to find, even though it's a nasty day, Becky tries to find errands for me to go on. Why don't you go to Kroger and get, or why don't you run to the pharmacy and get? Get out of my face, is what she's saying. Verse 16, whosoever hideth her hideth the wind, and the ointment of his right hand, which bewrayeth itself. Whoso keepeth the fig tree shall eat the fruit thereof. So he that waiteth on his master shall be honored. It's talking about things that it's very confusing reading some of these, but he's talking about your family life. What's your family life like? Y'all remember the days, I know Debbie does, when the family sat down and had a meal together? And man, your mama made some fried okra, and you know, I like to eat. And I went to her house one night, or we was coming to her house one night, and we had a wonderful meal there. She had cooked, seemed like she'd cooked some tenderloin or something, and potatoes and fried okra, man. And her and Debbie were talking before I got there, and Debbie said something. I think you said, "Is that going to be enough? Randy's coming."
I don't remember. I just told her. I said, "Now remember, Randy's coming."
Yeah, because he knew I was going to eat a lot. There's nothing better than sitting around the table with friends or with family, having a meal together, which is very hard to do anymore. It's even hard for husbands and wives sometimes to sit down and have a meal together. That's a shame. You build your family in those moments. When your kids and you are there and your family's there, you can talk about all these things. And we went to Rock and Roll Sushi the other night, and Hayes was eating half the bag of candy he'd collected at the table. And at times it's a little wild, but I enjoyed being there with my son and his daughter, his wife, my daughter-in-law, and if he's got a daughter, we got a problem. And my daughter-in-law and my 2 grandsons and my wife. Just eating some fried rice, man. Had a good time. Had a wonderful time being with them. And Becky and I laughed about so many things that we walked around Lakewood Village, and Lindsay and Lindsay and Cantley were there. Where were you? Walked around trick-or-treating all the stores in Lakewood Village. And when we got finished, Becky and I were at home that night talking about some of the funny things that were said, some of the funny things the kids did, some of the funny things they didn't do. That's where you build your family, those times. Well, I heard about that too, yeah. That's your problem. Yeah. Y'all build that family over there on Roder Weiss Road. But those are good times, man. And right now the world is trying to interfere with those things. Family time, family ties. There's always something better to do. There's nothing better than keeping your family together. There's nothing more important for a Christian than to keep his family together, keep his family in church, and home Bible study. Nothing better than that. That's true wisdom, guys. Anybody got any comments? You got any more comments, Kendall? Okay. She has plenty. All right, let's go to the Lord in prayer. And Mark, close us, please.